Right.
Okay, we're on. Lisa.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Captain Hook podcast, Season 7, Episode 15, Sisterhood. I am Lisa, a.k.a. You Brought Me Home on Tumblr, a.k.a. Captain Hook Podcast. And these are my friends who will be joining me today.
I'm Pip. Oh, sorry.
Hi, my name is Daniela, and I'm Queen Swan 20 on Tumblr. And Queen Witch 151 in Twitter.
Hi, I'm Pip. I am Pirate Hero Killian on Tumblr and Pirate Hero Jones on Twitter.
Ro, aka Ginny Jingson, Handshot Rita First, could not be here today, but he is here in spirit. I thought for sure he would send some questions, but nobody sent any questions, so today is going to be kind of like a, little free day. So, I thought for sure at the end of this episode that Drusilla was going to bite it, because we all knew that Adelie Kane's last episode was this one, and so I assumed that she had pissed off Anastasia so much with her bullshit that Anastasia or Gothel was just going to take her out. But I was pleasantly wrong. When I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. I really did want to see Drusilla come around and, make up for the wrongs that she has done, and I'm glad that she finally did. I wish she could have given Regina something that would help Henry, but you would think if you were the one to cast a curse that you would know how to fix it. But I guess she was so intent on casting it, she did not care about the fixing it part.
Well, in her defense, and Regina did emphasize this in the episode, she may have cast the curse, but it was Gothel who manipulated her. So we don't know what Gothel did with this curse.
Mm-hmm.
This is true. Lots of revelations in this episode. One being, we finally have figured out the identity of the candy killer. I don't know who the fuck came up with this name. The candy killer, supposedly because he leaves a box of chocolates anonymously for each victim.
Like My Bloody Valentine kind of style.
It is Nick, aka who we believe to be Hansel, aka Henry's friend. AKA Lucy's cursed father, whatever. So if he is indeed Hansel, which makes the most sense, he's not right in the head because of what the blind witch did to him when he was a child. His arms are burnt up pretty bad, according to Gretel, and now he's gone crazy, and he is murdering witches in revenge, not only for what they did to him, but because Gretel's dead. But he didn't realize that it wasn't the witches that killed Gretel, it was Drusilla that killed Gretel. But
so Drusilla is a witch.
Yes, but exactly. The point is, Nick be cray. And it's going to come to a head next week. I think more secrets are going to come out, and I think we are inching ever closer to an awakening for Henry and Jacinda and hopefully Rogers. Speaking of the Henry and Jacinda front, in this episode, they're also having some issues. Henry feels like he's been put on the back burner. He's trying to give Jacinda space because that's what she wanted, but it seems like signs and portents are kind of maneuvering them towards each other no matter what. And at the end of the episode, it looks like Jacinda might be believing in those signs too, that maybe it's true that she and Henry are supposed to be together. That's great that they think that, but I still don't. Even that John Hughes-esque type slow-mo scene, it was nice, but seemed a little forced, if you ask me.
I was more interested in watching Rogers play Galaga and pool, so I really don't care.
It's always nice to see Rogers broing out, even though one of the bros is cray. It's always nice to see some Captain Cobra going on. Rogers playing video games, Rogers playing pool, Rogers not drinking alcohol.
Exactly, yes, that's what I was about to say, and seeing him stay so happy. Because I was someone on Twitter and drunk Henry and Rogers. I was like,
Well, our Hook does still drink rum, but this one doesn't.
yeah,
That's the
Rogers.
difference.
Yeah, Rogers stays sober, and I was very proud of him. I was like, yay!
Yeah, but even Killian, as we know him, he's moderated his drinking severely from what it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty much a functioning alcoholic when he started on this show, and then by season 6, he was only imbibing when he was really upset.
Mm-hmm.
Now that he and Emma are about to have a baby, he might cut it out entirely.
Yeah.
For the sake of the child. But even though Rogers does not remember his reasons for not drinking because of the curse, it's still embedded within him somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
not to drink. Probably because he knows he has to go home to Tilly, and Tilly would not appreciate it if he came home plastered. It was cute when he was talking to Weaver, and he's like, I gotta hit the market because I gotta get some jam because she keeps eating it all.
Well, it was nice to see Henry have a boys' night with Hansel and Rogers.
Yeah, we don't often get to see Killian just, in whichever version, just be a normal person, just go out and have fun. You didn't get to see that happen a lot in Storybrooke because everything was plot, and there wasn't a whole lot of time for character development.
Mm-hmm.
So on the bigger story, though, the A story, Drusilla goes to Regina to ask for help because she wants to find Anastasia and make amends, but she doesn't know where to start.
Hello.
Hi.
Sorry, my connection just completely dropped.
That's okay.
I know how you feel.
So in the A story, Drusilla wants to make amends by finding Anastasia and try to fix things with her, but she doesn't know where to start. She's tried everything she can think of to find her, but Anastasia is being very good at keeping herself under wraps, probably with Gothel's help. So she goes to Regina to ask for help, and of course, Regina giving her the side eye, like, "Bitch, you tried to kill my son. I'm not giving you shit unless you give me some way to save his life." Of course, she didn't think about it when she was casting the curse. Maybe I should know how to fix it, but she didn't. But she said, "Look," she appealed to Regina's
good side,
her better sense of self by saying, "Look, Anastasia is innocent in this. I fucked up. I know that I fucked up. If I could fix it, I would. I can't fix Henry, but I can fix this with her and maybe get out of your hair at the same time." I'm really glad that Drusilla turned a corner, but I was really worried when Facilier showed up because every time he shows up, some shit happens. I know. Yeah. I'm still not sure how I view him because first he'll do something nice, but then he'll turn around and do something shitty. So it's hard to tell what his motivations are.
He's a mystery. I don't know if he tried to help Drusilla just to get points of goodwill with Regina, but I'm like, what's his deal with this? I'm like a little unsure of that.
Well, see, the thing that makes Facilier different is that he has access to a certain kind of magic that most of them don't. He has a certain kind of skill set that the rest of them don't, having to do with those tarot cards. Mm-hmm. He can almost precognition the future in some way through those cards. So he knew that no matter what he did, that Anastasia and Drusilla were going to live. Even if the situation became dire, they were still going to find some way out of it. And at the end of the day, they did. When he convinced her to bring Anastasia to him so he could siphon off her magic and put the magic in the bean so he could send her back to the Enchanted Forest so she could live out her life in peace. That's really fucked up. She's your sister and you're just going to give her up just so you can live in the Enchanted Forest by yourself? That's kind of fucked up. It's really fucked up after everything that you put her through already. Shit. But really, Facilier knew that wasn't going to happen. All he wanted to do was siphon off just enough of her magic to give to Regina because he knew Regina was going nuts not having magic or some way to fight Gothel. And I gotta tell you, I don't really care much for Regina, but that scene where he gives her the little vial of magic was just, I kind of got a little verklempt there, just a little bit. Kind of got a little teary-eyed.
I like them. I know a lot of people don't, but I like them. We still don't know his motivations, to be fair, but I like them immediately, and now I like him even more. And we know that Shawn is coming back to play Robin, but from what I've seen and everything I've gathered, it's to play the Dark Outlaw Queen, not original Robin. So I'm thinking that they are setting up Voodoo Queen, Shadow Queen, whatever you want to call it, to be Endgame. I think that's what they're doing here. I think they're trying to correct the mistake the best they can for fridging Robin, essentially.
I wish I knew what their expectations were. Yeah. With regarding Facilier and Regina, because Facilier's relationship with Regina, he's more familiar with her in the evil queen persona, and I'm worried he's going to expect that if they get back into a relationship, he's going to want her to be the way she was, and I don't want her to be the way she was.
Me neither.
She's come too far.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if that's what he wants, but again, it's hard to tell at this point.
He's a mystery.
Yeah, he's a big mystery, and I don't think it's going to be answered for. Oh, well, we only have so many episodes left, but we still got enough left that I don't think it's going to be answered for a while.
Yeah, but I'm glad that I'm just we're seeing Regina like happy that somebody did that for her. It kind of makes me I'm still in doubts, but I'm like, no, I'm torn, like between either he can be trusted and he does care for Regina, or he can be trusted and he doesn't care for Regina and he's just playing with her. I'm torn. I just need a little bit more information to reveal to see if if it is true that he has changed or something.
Because there are times when he does things that are duplicitous and for his own ends. I mean, we obviously know he still wants that dagger, and I gotta tell you, that scene between him and Rumpel was fantastic.
Yes, it was.
Robert Carlyle was amazing. Okay, I'm not like the biggest fan of Rumpel, but I surely God have missed seeing Robert play Rumpel the way he's meant to be played. It's
kind of familiar. It's something that we know. So to see him get back into that sort of, when he was telling Regina, I think you've forgotten that I deal in secrets and all that stuff. And I was sort of like, yeah, this is the Rumpel I know. It's kind of a weird combination of I'm enjoying seeing the old Rumpel combined with this new Rumpel that's just trying so hard to be good. I actually really like it. It's the first time ever where Rumpel's redemption actually feels real. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel like he's just trying to trick everybody. He actually wants this, and you can tell it. And it's
right,
nice.
Because even Regina was shocked when they showed up at the building, but it was already after the fact. When Facilier had already scampered off and Gothel was defeated at that moment. They found Anastasia and Drusilla there, and Regina knows that Rumpel needs Anastasia because she's the guardian. But he let her go anyway. He could have done something really nasty. Like he could have just shoved Drusilla in the portal and kept Anastasia for himself. And she was kind of shocked that he didn't do that, knowing how much he needs her to get back to Belle. But he's like, it's okay, because there will be other guardians after her. And I'm like,
sorry.
Well, I know you're assuming Alice, but Anastasia has some serious magical fortitude, like some serious fucking power. This bitch made the building shake. Even Emma didn't have that much strength. Well, not that we know of, because we never really got to see her use her magic like fully. They never gave her that chance. But anyway, we got a very juicy piece of information about this guardian thing from Facilier at the end. Him saying that the reason why Rumpel didn't do something evil or bad to the girl was because he couldn't. Him being able to reunite with Belle is contingent upon him living a straight and good life. If he makes any kind of mistake, if he does anything evil, if he squanders it in any way, he will be barred from returning to her, and he will likely go to the bad place.
Yeah.
So he has to really stay on the straight and narrow. You could tell in that scene, he was ready to, like, drive Facility into the ground. He's like, if you interfere with my marriage with Belle, I'm going to put both your feet in the ground. Because he's always saying he's got 1 foot in the real world and 1 foot in the spirit world. He's like, I'm going to put both you motherfucking feet in the ground. But
well,
he really physically
on the other
can't.
side.
Right, but he can't do it, because if he does something like that, if he kills someone or does something bad, then he risks his ability to reunite with Belle.
But something happened in the Enchanted Forest in the years between when we saw him come to the alternate Enchanted Forest and when they were cursed, because he ended up all scaly again. So he obviously at some point did something for Alice, of all people, to turn that way again. And that's why I'm telling you, it's Alice. Well, I know it's Alice. I know it's her. I can feel it.
I think it's very specific. Like, if he uses his Dark One magic to help somebody and it turned him green and scaly, I think that would be okay. But if he uses it in a selfish way for his own ends, or commits murder or some shit, then yeah, he's done. So he's trying very, very hard to keep on the straight, narrow. And I actually, I can't believe I'm even saying this, because this is Rumples we're talking about. But I really have to commend Robert's performance. Mm-hmm. This year's performance is probably better than all the 6 that came before, because it's so subtle. It's so subtle, the way he's having to play it. Most of the time, this is like callback to season 1 stuff. In season 1, you didn't get to see a whole lot of Rumple as Rumple unless it was flashback, because it took until the end of the season for Emma to break the curse. So most of it was just Robert playing Gold.
Yeah.
And this is the same way, and it's mostly Weaver, and he's having to do all these things and put these puzzle pieces together and get Rogers to believe him and get him on his side, all on his own, without the use of magic, without telling Rogers the truth. It's very, like, it's a testament to Robert's abilities as an actor. That's honestly, I think I know that people are going to hate me saying this, but I really think Colin was right, that in a lot of ways the writing this year is actually really good. I mean, there's stuff like timeline wise it's just completely fucked up, but character development wise, I wish they had done shit like this in the years past. I've been so fucking pissed off over the years, because everything is plot to the detriment of the growth of the characters. And this year, finally, characters are allowed to grow and develop, and we get to learn things about the characters instead of everything being contingent on the plot. I miss that. I really do.
And I like when he said that every time I do a good thing, he brings him closer to Belle.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really glad that Rogers invited Tilly to come stay with him now, because especially if someone brought up on my Tumblr last night, it's just, does this mean that he's the one who framed Alice for the Blind Witch's murder, and meaning Jack? And I was just like, I don't know if it was him or if it was Gothel, but the fact that I don't know makes me even more glad that Rogers said, Tilly, please come stay with me. Because last week it didn't quite feel as dangerous for her as it does this week with this revelation. With all these different revelations.
Because if Tilly is unfinished business, he's not going to want any loose ends lying around.
Exactly. And if she's a witch and or the Guardian, which I swear to God she's the Guardian, I'm going down with this speculation, okay? Until the show tells me otherwise, it's her, because with the exception of Lucy, and I don't think it's Lucy, with the exception of Lucy, because she hasn't shown any sign of magic at all. The only other pure-hearted character on the show is Alice.
Yeah.
So that's why I think it's her. And now she's even more danger than she even knows. And it's just kind of, I'm glad that I was just like, I was so excited about this scene last week, but this to have after this week, I'm like, I'm so glad that she's safe. She's with someone that can keep her safe, because otherwise,
this is true. You know, at the end of the day, I'm glad that Drusilla and Anastasia got to work things out. They got to go back to their realm and live their life and be happy and not have to deal with their mother's bullshit anymore, and just, you know, be a family.
Yeah.
That scene, the flashback scene where they were children and they lit those lamps, you know, a la Tangled. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for me to connect to it necessarily because I don't have a sibling, but it is very sweet. So I'm glad, you know, I was really hoping that Drusilla would redeem herself. I didn't want her to go down like that because of her mother and because of Gothel. I really felt like she was better than their bullshit. And I'm glad that I was right.
yeah.
And also, the big elephant in the room has come in the end of this episode. We haven't talked about now. The killer.
About what?
The killer of the witches of the coven has been revealed.
Oh yeah, Nick. So in next week's episode, things are gonna get nasty. Now that we, the audience, know that Nick is the candy killer or the witch killer, I think he's gonna try and take out Henry. Because he knows Henry is trying to protect Tilly and trying to help Rogers to figure out who the witch killer is. And he's not going to want to have to deal with that. So he's going to take out anybody that could possibly get in his way.
And we do know that next week is a Captain Cobra adventure episode in the
some Captain Cobra on the Jolly. Woo woo.
Yep. So and of course it always parallels what's happening in the present. So I'm guessing it's going to be something that Nick's probably going to be doing something that puts both Rogers and Henry in a difficult place, sort of because of Alice, I don't know, or Tilly in this case, but yeah. Also, next week, Captain Hook, Mr. Smee, and Blackbeard all back. Yes!
Woo-hoo. Raise the roof, yo!
I'm so excited because I know when Charles posted, because he posted the picture as Blackbeard right after it was announced that the show was ending, so people weren't sure if he was posting from current filming or if he was just saying goodbye to the character in general.
No, wait. Is this Blackbeard Wishron Blackbeard or is it?
I don't know.
Real Blackbeard.
It'd be really funny if it was the original Blackbeard, wouldn't it? That'd be
like, dude, where's my fucking ship, man? You owe me. Where's my fucking ship?
It'd be fucking hilarious if of all the characters, all the original characters come back as themselves. It's Blackbeard. It would be Blackbeard. Freaking love Blackbeard.
You owe me, pirate. I won that ship fair and square. You owe me.
and Wish Hook would be like, what the hell are you talking about? This is my ship. I gave it to Smee, and then I took it back, and then I gave it back to Smee. If that's a scene that actually happens, oh my god!
It's always Colin. When Colin has Hook-centric episodes, it's always a fun adventure. Period.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad to see that that Blackbeard is actually coming back for this season, because like I said, we saw him post the picture, but it happened right after the show was announced to be ending. So I was like, is this current or is this from the past? So we wasn't sure, and then we saw last night that he's back. So I'm so glad. I'm looking forward to that episode. I've been looking forward to the episode since they announced that it was going to be a Captain Cobra episode. So
like, finally a Captain Cobra episode. Finally.
Oh, and they're bonding last night. When Roger said that, no, this is where I feel like this is where I need to be, I was like, oh.
I have to say one thing, and I don't know if you guys share this opinion because it depends on if you're a fan of the movie or not. But when they showed the Once Upon a Time title card from last night's episode, you saw the sign flicker and it said Flynn's, I was like, oh my God. Yes. Yes. Let them do this right, please.
What?
The barcade looked so much like Flynn's. I was like, okay, if you're going to have Flynn's arcade, I want to see a Tron video game and I want to hear Daft Punk in the background. Because motherfucking Tron, but there was a replicator on the wall, a ground pounder, boom, 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 on the wall. Like, yes, Tron.
I've never seen Tron,
but that would remind me of like an 80s arcade from
That's the
movies.
point, because Tron was made in 1982, so they're trying to make it very. I mean, that's why the video games were all 80s, like Galaga and Donkey Kong and all that shit, because it's all 80s.
That was amazing.
The only difference in this Flynn's is that it's a barcade, which because in Tron it was for younger kids, so it was just games and like regular food, but in this one it's for adults, so it's games and beer. They were even wearing the blue shirts, the blue Flynn's t-shirts. It's the same t-shirts that they wore in the movie. I was half expecting to see fucking Jeff Bridges walk out of a corner somewhere.
Well, I really liked this episode much because it brought not only the theme of sisters, but also brought kind of revelations of what we were expecting, like who's the killer of the witches of the coven, how the whole what happened between Gothel and Drusilla, how she became part of the coven and all that stuff. I really like the whole revelation, but also I really like that Regina finally has a clue to bring Henry to safety when the curse breaks, so he can be with his wife and his kid and not die. Because if he died, I will be very sad.
Oh, she's got a little bit of magic. What she really needs to do is she's got to investigate the curse. She's got to break this curse down into its pieces to figure out what part of this contains whatever it was they poisoned him with, and figure out if she can figure out what it was they used to poison him, then she can figure out how to reverse it. I mean, we all know that Henry is going to live. I mean, he's in fucking storybook, so he's obviously going to live.
Yeah.
Speaking of, okay, since we are talking about spoilers, everybody knows that they filmed their last location shoot in Storybrooke. We've already seen the behind the scenes photos and the happy joys, everybody coming over and giving hugs and pictures and things like that. I don't know what it was they're filming. All I know is Andrew J. West was on horseback riding down Main Street in Shannon Forest clothes. I know the Doors were chasing after Tiana and she was hiding around her food truck with Alice and Margot. I don't know. Robin and Alice were hiding from the dwarves around Tiana's food truck. I do not know why the Storybrooke residents who've been living in Storybrooke for fucking ever now are wearing their Enchanted Forest clothes, unless these are people coming from another Enchanted Forest. I don't know. I know that Killian or Colin was wearing Roger's clothes, but he was also wearing the hook. So we know it's Roger's, but he's not wearing the glove. He obviously feels comfortable. Yeah, he's awake. He obviously feels comfortable enough to wear the hook in Storybrooke where everybody knows who he is. I don't know why, if all these people are running around in Storybrooke, why Hook and Emma aren't like, what the fuck is going on? This is their town. They should be wondering what the hell's going on. But we'll figure it out later. We also got some really awesome behind the scenes photographs from an in-studio shoot.
Yeah.
Filming some sort of ball type scene where everybody was dressed in ball gowns. This is J-Mo came back to do her one day of shooting. She was wearing a very beautiful white dress and she looked amazing. And there was a picture with her and Colin and he looked fucking amazing. And the tip of his hook was a rubber, like little ball that was put there to protect the hook. I'm going to protect people from getting cut. And if that's what I thought at first, he was just using that just to, keep from hurting himself. And then we found out it was confirmed that CS Baby was on set. We're going to see Swan Jones' family.
No, it wasn't confirmed. People have said they have sources. It wasn't confirmed by an official source. Let's make that clear, because nobody, Adam and Eddie or all of those, any of those people, nobody came out and actually said anything. What they said, what we saw was from people that have sources. They say it's a baby. That's what's
maybe
out there.
No, but it may not be confirmed. But why else would he be wearing a rubber thing on the end of his hook?
I will say that whatever it is, it's something that Colin wouldn't have it in the picture if he wasn't allowed to show it. So
exactly.
So it's something that, it's, I don't know whether it's part of the picture or not, which we know that Captain Swan had a baby. So it would make sense if
I think it was since the little thing in this hook is the little rubber thing was pink. I think there was a clue that the Captain Swan baby is a girl.
I'm not gonna gender stereotype because of colors. I'm not gonna do that, but it probably is. But I'm not basing it on anything. But I'm just saying, narratively, it makes sense that the Captain Swan baby or their child, they could have had a second child or maybe a third child. We don't know that. I saw people speculating that. I was like, that's a good point, which would make the timeline make sense.
Yeah, because
it might not be their first child.
Because if Henry and Drusilla, if Henry and Jacinda are already married by now, the baby would be much older. So it's possible they could have another child. Yes,
exactly.
This is true.
So, but I'm just saying, in terms of narrative, the baby or their child, we would have to see their child at this point. If Captain Swan, the original Captain Swan, is going to be in the finale, it would make sense from a narrative standpoint that the next step would be to see the child. Because last we've heard, they were having a child. And Captain Swan has always moved in a very linear fashion. They start at one point, they get to the next point, they go to the next point and the next point in a sort of, storyline, sort of like in the storybook, it goes in a sort of archetype sort of way.
I mean, narrative. We don't know what the context of the scene is. I know some people thought it was a coronation. Some people thought it was a wedding. Some people thought it was a birthday. Some people thought it was a naming ceremony. Some people thought they were celebrating the Storybook residents' return to the Enchanted Forest. But no one knows for sure what this is, what the time frame is. All I can say is that my brain hurts from trying to speculate too much. I think I just want to wait until the episode itself airs and we'll see it then. I'm kind of glad to be able to go into this for once surprised, because we're always hunting spoilers, but it's nice to be able to walk into something and get a surprise.
Yeah.
Are my expectations low? Middle ground.
Mine's are very, very low, like underground low. Because if I get high hopes, I always end up disappointed. So I'm just gonna be low expectation for the rest of the episodes of this season and for the finale, so I can be surprised and all that stuff.
I'm gonna keep my middle ground because I would like to think that Adam and Eddie would want the finale to be spectacular. Like they want to. Yeah. I think it's going to be them like giving back to the fans, like saying, we love you. So we want to show it by giving you the best last episode that we can give you. It's like a love letter to the fans, kind of, because it'd be the last time we get to see it. So I would like to think they would do their best before it ends.
I know I will cry a lot when I watch the finale. That's all I can say. I know
I've already been crying, so
I'm not much of a crier because like I said, I walked into this year knowing it was pretty much with a fair amount of certainty that this was going to be it. So I was already resigned when season 7 started. But hey, any excuse to see more Colin on my screen is always good.
For me, to see Lana, Colin, and Shawn and Jen together in a show or a movie in my TV screen or in the movie theater, I'll be down for that.
Yeah,
I'll be down for that for sure.
Good.
And also, I want to say a big thank you to Adelaide Kane for playing Anastasia and Drusilla in this last season of Once Upon a Time. She did an amazing job for bringing one of my favorite stepsisters in all all of the evil stepsisters. I mean, the two of them. Between the two of them, Drusilla was my favorite because she was bad, but she was like bad, but with style. She put the malice in the villain category, and I'm very shocked that I'm very surprised, and I'm very happy that she redeemed her. She brought a new goodness in her because she was manipulated by others, and she was so deep buried in her hatred, in her pain for what her mother did to her. She finally fought for it, fought and became the person she was, the good person she was. She forgave her sister, her mother, and she saved her sister. And now she's having her happy ever after, her redemption and the new enchanted forest with her sister. And I'm very glad. So thank you, Adelaide Kane. You'll always be our Drusilla. Malice always prevails.
Yes, I definitely want to say to Adelaide Kane, to Gabrielle Anwar, Yael, Yerman, all three of them. Thank you for giving us such great performances. Courage to walk into a show that you knew was already very well established. It cannot be easy to walk into a show like that that's had such a casting shakeup and a complete overhaul and play a brand new character, especially a new version of a character that people have already seen. It's not easy to do something like that, and to be able to pull it off and do it with grace and with strength and conviction, and they did.
Yeah.
So thank you, all three of you, for your performance, for your time, for your grace, for your hard work. We hope to see you elsewhere and we wish you luck in wherever you go into the future. Are there any final thoughts on this episode?
Well, it was an 8. I give this episode 10 and 0.8 because it was very emotional from the sisterly part, and also for the whole reveal of that I wanted about the killer of the witches of the coven, and also the whole cute part with Henry and Ella when they were cursed. That is true. That fate and science kind of are pulling them together, and I hope that they find a way to break this curse and save Henry's heart from being poisoned and killing him. And they can all be together, be a family, and kick Gothel to the curb, because this bitch deserves to get a donkey punch in the face for all she's done.
I thought the episode was a nice sort of reveal episode. I think everything worked in the sense that they finished off some stories. They've been really good about this season by wrapping up stories really well, and then kind of adding to the longer threads of the season. So I thought it was very fulfilling as an episode to see, how Drusilla's story ended and Anastasia's story ended, and then kind of add more pieces to the puzzle by adding the whole thing with Nick and then the other guardian. That whole sort of thing is just, it kind of helps it move along, and it felt like a good paced episode in that sort of sense. And it was a good episode. It was just like the rest of the season. I've enjoyed the episodes for what they were. So yeah, I thought it was a good episode.
Mm-hmm.
I would give this episode, I have to break this down, for character development, twisty reveals, and for positive endings to plot lines. I will give this one a 10. But for just regular episodes, whatever, probably like a 7. Because I'm still not getting any decent chemistry between Jacinda and Henry, but I guess that's just me. This episode really goes to show that once upon a time, when the writers can do it right, they really do it right.
Mm-hmm.
I know they've done a lot of shit wrong in the past, but when they're on it, they're on it. And this is one of those episodes. It was a really good mix of character development and plot, because we got the plot shored up with Anastasia and Drusilla. We got the reveal of Nick. We got the reveal that if Rumpel fucks up, that he goes to the bad place. You know, we got a lot of juicy tidbits. We got some good twists. We got some plot lines shored up. But we also got some really good character development. We got some development for Facilier and Regina. We got some development. Drusilla finally developed her character fully. We got to see her, you know, redeem herself. We got to see Anastasia finally stand on her own 2 feet and her magic come to its full power and her fully grow as a person. We even got to see some really good positive character development for Rogers with the bromance. And also, I've noticed that now because Tilly is living with him, I mean, we don't get to see the domestic scenes. I wish that we could, but you could tell there was a definite difference in the way Rogers was interacting with people. Before this, he was on edge. He didn't smile very much. He was kind of depressed. He was working so hard. He didn't have any personal life. He was just, you know. And now that Tilly is with him, he seems much lighter. Yeah. Smiling more positive, like more, you know, personable, easier to be around, not so dark and gloom and doom all the time. He's not so, and for the first time, he's not sitting there working till the wee hours of the night. He actually went out and did something for himself, you know, went out and had fun.
That's what I was about to say, that was the first time all season where Rogers starts out by says to Weaver, oh, do you want to work on the case or whatever? And Weaver says, no, you should have the night off. And Rogers is like, yeah, I should. I'm going to go do that. And instead of going to the market like he originally planned, he thought he was going to go find out about the case from Henry. But as soon as Henry revealed that wasn't what was happening, Rogers was like, screw it, I'll stay here. I feel like I need to be here anyway. So, and he seemed like he was enjoying himself. So yeah, I feel like the Alice Tilly coming into Roger's life and being there with him in his apartment, it kind of.
Because before she showed up, he probably, if Henry had done that, he would have been irritated and been like, God damn it, you know, we're supposed to be working on this case and I got to go home and get stuff done. And now you're calling me and doing all. He would have been a lot more upset. Now he's like, yeah, let's go hang out, have some fun, chill out, you know, be a bro. It was nice to see him have some of that. It's nice to see his softness. That softness seemed to disappear when he lost her. And then when the season started, there was no softness there for him because he was like, he seemed stuck in a rut, you know?
It's like he's found his purpose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So a lot of positive developments for this episode. Was actually, I thought it was going to be kind of ho-hum because it was mostly centered on Drusilla, and she's not a favorite character of mine. I thought it was going to be kind of boring. It was actually a decently done episode. I'm pleasantly surprised.
Me too.
Okay, so that is it for Sisterhood. Join us again next week. We'll be back for episode 16, Breadcrumbs, where we can get some more. This is going to be kind of like a murder mystery type episode here where we may or may not, Henry's life may or may not be in danger because of Nick. I guess we shall find out. We'll get some background on Nick and him being Hansel and all that good stuff, and a rip-roaring awesome at-sea adventure for Captain Cobra. Awesomeness.
Yeah, and seeing Colin wearing the cook costume with his chest hair flying free, that's gonna be awesome too.
So we will see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Bye.
Bye.